Hello and welcome to this short arm balance tutorial where we'll look at Parsva Bakasana, or side crane or side crow, depending on what you prefer to call it. We'll just go through some stretches, some drills to get us ready, to get the body prepared to take flight, and then we'll work on building confidence so that we can find our arm balance, lifting hopefully both feet away from the floor. So perhaps the most important thing when we take balance is that we engage in our core, in finding our center. So just try to envision drawing in with those internal abdominal muscles, also lifting the pelvic floor. We're wrapping those muscles in to support the spine. It should feel almost as if we're wearing a corset, so really light pull inwards. We want to try and keep this engagement for the duration of the tutorial. The second most important thing is we breathe. We won't be able to balance if we stop breathing. So if it's comfortable and familiar to you, we take our ujjayi breath, so long and slow inhalations and exhalations, both in and out through the nose, restricting the back of the throat. If that's not achievable or familiar to you, just try to make sure we keep breathing in and out through the nose throughout the tutorial. As we breathe in, lifting both arms, we bend the elbows and just bring the fingertips to the shoulders. Then we exhale to roll those shoulders backwards, but without moving the spine. So we need to be aware of the body, aware of the different body parts and how they can work in relationship to create strength and power to lift away from the floor. Then just changing the direction, so rolling those shoulders back the other way. And we can release both arms. The side crane involves a little bit of a twist, so we just take one arm and bring the forearm to the outside of the opposite thigh. Bringing those fingertips to the floor, we sit tall, but make sure both sitting bones stay grounded here. Maybe sending that hand round to take hold of the thigh for half a bind. And so we can release and change sides. So we bring the forearm of the other arm to the outside of the thigh and bring those fingertips to the floor. Again, the sitting bones are grounded, so we're just taking a thoracic twist, keeping shoulders relaxed. Maybe send the hand round and take hold of the thigh. And then again we release. So readjusting, coming into a tabletop position, hands underneath those shoulders, and just lift the hand, turning the hand round. And as we breathe out, try to work the heel of the hand down towards the floor. Option just to bring the weight slightly forwards over that wrist, so we're really opening through the muscles in the forearm, preparing to take weight through those arms. And then changing sides. So we lift and turn the other hand round. And again, as we breathe out, try to work the heel of the hand towards the floor and maybe bring the weight forwards over the forearm. And then again, fingertips face forwards on both hands. Keeping engagement in that center, we begin to draw circles round. So tip the weight forwards over the wrists and then draw back, bring the hips back towards those ankles. Keeping the extension in the spine as we draw those circles round. And so we change the direction. So again, just bringing the weight forwards over those wrists and then back over the ankles. And then we can release, coming into downward facing dog. As we take downward dog, thinking about suction pads with the hands, so we're almost trying to draw the energy up and out through those hands, through the wrists. So float the knees away from the floor, pressing the hips up and back. But again, the hands aren't flat, so we're not forcing the hands down, but rather drawing and gripping away. This really helps us to generate that grip and that strength through the arms that we need to balance. Maybe softening into one knee at a time, just pressing through those heels as we go. And then exhale to work both heels down gently towards the floor, really finding that extension through the spine, and let those shoulders come away from the ears. We soften into the knees, lifting those heels, and just begin to walk those feet forwards towards the hands. As the feet arrive, the knees soften, and we roll slowly up through the spine, just stacking the vertebrae, lifting up. Bring the palms together. They come in front of the heart center, and we just begin to exhale and rotate gently to one side, but leave those hips facing forwards. So again, we're in thoracic twist. Inhale, coming to center. And then exhale, just rotate, coming gently to the other sides. Breathing into center. And exhale, rotate, turn slowly to the other sides. 2 more, breathing in. Breathe out. Last time, inhale, center. Then exhale, rotate, turning gently to the sides. We come back to center. Bring the feet quite close together. Knees and toes face the same direction. We release those shoulders down. Breathe in, first of all, sweep the arms behind the body. Then as we exhale, we lengthen, as if we're sitting back in a chair, in chair pose. From here, bring the palms together and just lift and let one upper arm find the outside of the thigh to rotate. This is the movement we need in side crane. So we're trying to keep the knees and the hips facing one way, but we rotate the torso, turning to the sides. Option here, just gently opening those arms. Then we change sides, lift and bring the forearm to the other side of the thigh. Remember, we're trying not to move the knees or the hips. We're rotating in the spine. Option to open those arms up. And again, coming to center. Breathing in, sweep those arms behind the body, soften the knees. And one more time, exhale, lengthen and lift. This time, releasing both hands down, stepping back into a high plank, soften knees to the floor, and exhale to bend in the elbows. Breathe in to lift into a cobra or an up dog. Then exhale, pressing back into downward dog. Knees soften, heels lift. Stepping those feet through, we lengthen through both legs, sitting into Dandasana. Bring the hands behind the body, fingertips face towards those toes. Then we exhale to press and lift the hips, coming into a reverse plank position. Straight diagonal line from those toes to the shoulders. And then we release. So, crossing the legs, pressing hands through into table, tuck the toes, and exhale, lift into down dog. Knees soften, and we step into a forward fold. Inhale, bring palms together behind the body. And as we exhale, we sweep through, again coming into our chair pose. So, from here, side plank tutorial. First of all, bring the hands to the outside of the body and we soften in both knees. So the knees are facing one way and we're taking a spinal twist, turning to the side. Remember our suction pads, so it's like we're drawing out and away from the floor. And if you're new to this posture, we need both arms to be able to achieve it. So we're thinking about lifting up and on to the triceps, as if the triceps are a shelf. So imagine that shelf, try to lift up and out of the floor, then come onto the triceps. So we can float maybe just one foot or both feet away from the floor here. Now this is 90% getting that leg in the right place and only about 10% strength. Also confidence. As long as we're confident, trust in the body, we haven't got very far to fall anyway, we can float those feet away. And maybe having a play around here so we can extend in those legs, maybe keeping both knees bent. And release. Again, we change sides. Bring palms together behind the body in our chair pose, and as we exhale, we lengthen through the arms, finding extension. We will find that one side is easier and more accessible than the other. Bringing those arms again to the outside. If I turn to face you, hands to the floor, knees stay facing the same direction, and we need both arms to get this to work. We float, maybe just the lower foot or both feet away from the floor. And again, if we're feeling confident, we can play around with the positioning of the legs, making sure that elbows stay directly on top of those wrists, and we keep the thigh onto those triceps. Maybe one foot, or again, both feet away from the floor. So, let's lift, release those shoulders. If we're familiar with the posture, we want to try and go a little bit further as an advanced option. Exhale, sweep those arms coming into chair pose. Then we readjust, bring the hands to the outside, and we're going to try the same thing, but this time the arm is free. So this is a bit of a more challenging version of the posture. We lift. We need a little bit more strength in the arms for this one. Again, we can use both, or we keep the arm separate. Remember to breathe, don't stop breathing. Maybe attempting the other side. Let's take a chair pose first of all. Then again, release those arms to the side. If we dare, we keep one arm free and away. But I'm not sure I can do it on this side. So really, it's so much about drawing in with the center, keeping breathing, drawing and pulling the weight, the hands out of the floor, and also getting the right position. So we want both arms to rest, or both triceps onto that thigh, and that's the lever that we need to float the feet away and play around in Parsva Bakasana, side crane. Thank you, I hope you enjoyed it.